Take your mind into the wonderful world of physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual wellness. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kinetic Hour. Conversations with you and guests. With your host, Kenan Wesley Mason. That's me. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Kinetic Hour. I am your host, Kenan Wesley Mason, and welcome one, welcome all. Thank you for streaming live. Once again, I'm simulcasting on Instagram Live and on Facebook Live, which is always good, so I can spread the message and spread the message to anywhere and everywhere, all platforms. I wish I could do TikTok as well, because I like getting the word out and talking. It's been a while since I've been on live. Oh gosh, it's been a few weeks now, probably closer to a month since I've actually been on live doing a live simulcast. So thank you for tuning in, whether it's one person tuning in or whether it's 100 people. It doesn't matter as long as the word gets out, and somebody may listen to this tomorrow or someone may listen to it 5 years from now. Who knows? It may be a new platform by then. But I'm coming on today there's been a few things happening, actually. One in particular subject that I am going to just throw my 2 cents into the hat. But before that, I want to talk about the Kinetic Hour. And last Monday, my guest, Dr. Rupachari, MD, she came on and gave a wonderful interview. It was great to actually speak to her again after about 7 or 8 years since we first interviewed her on Aim to Purpose, the radio show back in 2015. And we discussed a lot of things related to health and wellness, going into weight loss, which is a big deal right now. Actually, it's been a big deal for a long time. We got into weight loss and got into some of her thoughts about today, as we see that one of the trending ways to have weight loss created for you has been the Brazilian butt lift. I think we've all heard it by now. If you haven't, it's the new craze as of the last 5 years now. It's been going on for a little bit longer, but it's really relevant today as we see more and more people, more and more women especially, having plastic surgeries to lose weight and losing weight in very specific places so they can have a very specific looking figure. And so we discussed that. We discussed type 2 diabetes versus type 1. And type 2 diabetes, I like to call diabetes one of the big 3 illness conditions here in America, along with the other 2 being heart disease and cancer. Heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. Those are the big 3 here in America that we just can't seem to get a cure for. With all the technology that we have and all the advances that we've had in the health field, or let me rephrase, in the medical field, because just to be frank, I mean, most people that are in the health and wellness field understand that if diabetes has been created, it can also be eliminated or healed. If cancer has been developed, the understanding is that you don't have to be subjected to it for a lifetime or have the fear factor that gets to people when they have the diagnosis of cancer. I mean, fear, it's automatic fear. And then we know what the deal is with the treatments. I'm not even going to go so deep into the treatments. We know what the standard treatments are: chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery, or extracting the cancer out of the body without going into the root cause of why it developed in the first place, which is why more and more people have reoccurrences of their cancer diagnoses. And also, what else did we talk about? High blood pressure. And we talked about the mental aspects of optimal health, because today it appears that we hear more and more about mental health today. We see more and more advertisings about mental health. We see more and more television shows discussing mental health. More talk shows are discussing mental health more than ever in history, post-pandemic. Could that be the reason why we're having such the spike in mental illness cases? Whether it be a diagnosis of being bipolar, whether it's a chronic anxiety or chronic or manic depression, paranoid schizophrenia. Why is mental health rising? Why is it rising more and more and more and more and more? Which is a discussion that will be had with future guests that I'm going to have on the show. And I invite all of you. I mean, there's a lot of Facebook influencers. There's an abundance of Instagram influencers. Come on the show. Tell your story. That's what it's about. Come on the show and tell your story. The Kinetic Hour is about not only about health. It's a big part of the show, but it's not the only part of the show. I mean, we can talk about anything. For those of you that watched my mom and myself on Aim to Purpose, the radio show, which we started back in the summer of 2014, and we ended in the fall of 2016. And all of those shows are archived on YouTube. I'm going to be putting more on my channels as well, because we interview some great people from all walks of life, from all over the world. And I am sending an invitation right now to all those out there in Facebook land, and all those out there in Instagram land, and all of those out there in TikTok land. Come on the Kinetic Hour. Tell your story. Whether it's a health story, or you've triumphed over your illness condition. I want to get a few people on to talk about some social issues that are going on. It's political season now, and we see what that's turning into. So I can talk about that for the whole hour. So we're going to be looking into having some people that are politically inclined to come on and give their views. And it doesn't matter what side you're on, because I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, and I will always let that be known. So it doesn't matter what side you come from. Obviously, both of them have their respective places, but we also see what it does to the country here in America, and actually all politics that cater to the two-party dictatorship, one side versus the other. By default, it creates division. So, and with division, you get people that show their animosities towards each other, finger pointing, Um, my party is better than your party. The people in your party aren't doing such a great job like we thought they were going to do. Or your side is not doing an equally good job either. So I'd like for some people to come on and let's have a discussion about the political climate. And will we have another Republican in office? Will we have another Democrat in office? Or will the country go against the grain because they see what the results have been, voting Republicans and Democrats in over and over and over and over and over again? Maybe the country, possibly, because it's all possible, possibly the country will have a collective consciousness moment and say, you know what? Why are we voting for them? You know, when you go to the polls, you can put your own name on the ballot. Why don't we do that? Put our own names on the ballot. Or don't vote for a Republican or a Democrat. Vote for anybody but a Republican or a Democrat. Because we see what the results are. And we see what they're going to be over and over and over again. Why we keep continuing to have the belief system that that if a Republican gets in, the country will be better, or if a Democrat gets in, the country will be better. But we keep hearing the same complaints every 2 to 4 years, the same complaints over and over and over and over and over again. All the isms, classism, socialism, racism, economics. We keep talking about the same things over and over again. The gas prices going up, you name it, food costs, mortgage, rent, all of these things. Technology. Why are we using this technology versus this technology? There's a whole host of things that come into play when we talk about the political system. So I'd love to have some people come on and just discuss what they know about politics and the historic value of seeing a pattern in politics that has been in play for about 175 years. It's like Coke and Pepsi, choosing one or the two, Republican or Democrat. And neither of them have done the country any good going towards universal prosperity, because we still complaining about the same things. So it'll be interesting what's going to happen during the political season. We already see who's going to be running on the Republican side. We got the former president, Donald Trump, who appears to be hell-bent on becoming president by any means necessary. This is the same man that was found liable in a court that he assaulted a woman in a department store, and he had to cough up I think $5 million in penalties because he was found guilty in a civil trial, if I'm not mistaken. And people still want him to be president. This is the same man that has said on tape, you know, hey, just you can grab him at the pussy. That's who some people want to be president. What if that was your daughter? What if that was your daughter? I mean, this is the same man that actually had some comments about his daughter that, yeah, my daughter's attractive. If she wasn't my daughter, I'd have sex with her. He's said that. And people still want him to be president. It's amazing. But, you know, as Don King once said, only in America, right? So it'll be interesting as the political season progresses forward. But yeah, the kinetic hour is about politics. It's about economics. It's about the social justice system. It's about the criminal justice system. I want to get a couple of people on to discuss the criminal justice system, as it's just run amok with multiple police departments all over the country. That'll be a hot topic as well. Music. We can have people that are musically inclined. I have a music background, production background, audio engineering. So, which is segues into what I'm going to discuss. But yeah, the kinetic hour. Come on, feel free. Come on the show. Spiritual people. There's plenty of people on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok that are into spiritual or energy practices such as Reiki. I have my 3rd degree Reiki master certification. I'm looking at it right now on the wall, along with my other certifications, board certification as a holistic psychology practitioner. But yeah, come on the kinetic hour. It's wide open for any and all guests. That's why it says conversations with you and guests, because I want to talk to the people. You don't have to be a public figure. You don't have to have 1 million followers. You can have 1,000 followers and be equally as effective in your presentation. So this is an open invitation to anyone and everyone, whoever you may know, that would like to come on and share their stories and their journey, their activism, their opinions. Come on the show. We had Dr. Rupachari on. I had one of my best friends, Big Truck, on. You might see him on Instagram and YouTube, talking about relationships. And he's great, he's great. But yeah, Dr. Rupachari. And coming up this Thursday, I'll have her brother, Deepak Chari, on the show to talk about his technology with biofeedback technology and how that can help to alleviate and eliminate emotional and anxiety blocks. And that'll be an in-depth discussion as well, because we kind of are into the same things. And I interviewed Deepak as well back in 2015 with his sister, Dr. Rupachari. So that'll be fun. And that's this Thursday coming up at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's going to be live on Facebook. And then I'll post some of the clips on Instagram and TikTok, as I always do. I was going to talk about, or I am going to talk about, just give my opinion on a situation with one of my favorite hip hop artists. And I've been following his career from day one. We're going all the way back to the late 80s. So gosh, probably 1987. And he's known all over the world. His name is O'Shea Jackson Sr., but the world knows him by the name Ice Cube. And he's been going on a tour lately, talking about his basketball league, which is called the Big Three, and how he's been having some challenges. He's been having some challenges bringing his basketball league to the masses, just like the NBA, the WNBA. But from his point of view, there's been some roadblocks. Where there are certain forces or people in power that are doing the best that they can to stifle his progress. as if he's purposely trying to take the NBA audience. And so he's been going on a interview tour, going to different platforms. He's going to big names and smaller names as well. People that are well known. He's already been on Joe Rogan. He's already been on Bill Maher. He's already been on The Breakfast Club, and he's gone on smaller platforms as well. And pretty much telling what his journey has been as he has created this basketball league, a basketball league that has a different setup, a different set of rules. It's a 3-on-3 versus 5-on-5. And I think it's half court as well. So it's more fast paced, which brings more excitement to the game. We know once upon a time, the NBA was very slow during the old ABA days of the 50s and 60s until the 70s when Julius Erving came in and put a little spice on the game, right? And then we know about Urban Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and Michael Jordan and all these people, Kobe Bryant. They brought some excitement, especially in the 80s. That's why they were called prime time or showtime, because they brought some excitement to the game. Well, this is what Cube is attempting to do as well, without trying to take the NBA audience. There's enough people in America alone where there'll be more than enough to go around, more than enough success. The NBA, it appears that they are in fear. This is the same NBA that a couple of years ago during the pandemic was doing the best that they can to try to force players to be inoculated against their will. And then certain people in the NBA were going after specific people, certain players. We all know what they were trying to do to Kyrie Irving, as if they need to teach him a lesson about history. And they tried to stifle his career and stumble his career because of his personal practices, cultural practices. This is the power struggle that this is the power that people such as Ice Cube have to deal with when you have people that are in positions of power that don't want anybody else to be in that same position of power alongside of you. It's like one person at the top, and as if there is no room for anyone else to be prosperous and on top as well. So Cube has been going on a tour discussing this and a whole lot more about what he calls the gatekeepers, you know, the ones that kind of oversee the entertainment industry, the music industry, the film academy. And we see how that's been working out, because you have the writers' strike that's been going on for about a month now and is going to continue. And now you have the actors that are going on strike as well. The actors are going on strike. So that lets me know that the movie studios don't give a shit about the actors, no matter how many Academy Awards they win. Doesn't matter. It's never mattered. It's never mattered. And this is why you see writers striking. You don't have a show or a movie unless you have the writers. And sometimes the producer is the writer, or sometimes the director is the writer. But nonetheless, you have no product unless you have writers. And now the actors that are dependent on the writers, they're going on strike too. As if the writers, I mean, just imagine if the writers and the actors, especially the A-list actors, I mean, they make tons of money per movie. We're talking 10, 15, 20 million dollars per movie. And some of these people have made 10, 15 movies at $20 million a pop. So why can't they take that money, pool their monies together, create their own studio, produce their own movies, not waiting for Warner Brothers, not waiting for Universal. No. Not waiting for Sony. No. No. Not waiting for Paramount. No. There's enough A-list actors that make enough income to where they can put their money together and create their own shit. I mean, people can say what they want, but isn't that what Tyler Perry did? He may have partnered with some people, but he has a studio in his name that's bigger than the 3 lots out here put together. So if he can do it, that means anybody can do it. Put your money together. Why are we so dependent on the big boys? Because they can put in the most money for promotion. I mean, if a movie is good, people are going to go see it. There have been plenty of movies that have been produced and created and made on low budgets and have made millions of dollars beyond what the scope was. So it can be done. So, and these are the things that Cube has been going on the air discussing. The gatekeepers. Prince used to talk about the gatekeepers, right? He used to talk about the gatekeepers and how if you don't own your masters will own you. That's what he said out of his own mouth, Prince, right? The gatekeepers. And there's plenty of people, plenty of entertainers in the music field and in the entertainment of film and television. There's plenty of entertainers that have gone on the air to talk about the gatekeepers, the people that have total control over the networks, the people that decide what you watch on television, the people that decide what you listen to on the radio, you know, the mainstream stuff. This is what they do. And they're doing the best that they can to keep Ice Cube and the big 3 out of the scope of the general public because of the fear that somehow Cube is going to eclipse the viewership of the NBA when the NBA is what, October through June, right? Throughout the fall, throughout the winter, throughout the spring, while the big 3 is a summer league, pretty much. It's a summer league. And I think they play, what, once or twice a week? It's a summer league. But the NBA is so power thirsty. They don't want any competition. And Cube has gone on record saying, we're not trying to be competition. You all are making it appear that we're in competition. That's what they're doing, not Cube, not the big 3. But they're stifling his game, if you will, because the big 3 is certified as and as a legitimate sports conglomerate now. It's certified as a legitimate sports entity, just equal like the NBA or the NFL or Major League Baseball or Major League Soccer. The big three is equal to them now. Certified. I think they're going on their 6th season now. So it's for real and it's legit. And this is what the NBA obviously is scared of, that Cube is going to somehow take from the NBA. And he just might do that without even trying. I mean, there are former NBA players that have gone to play with the big three because they still want to, you know, show their skills. And so Cube is providing opportunity for his players and for former NBA players, whether they come to the big three or whether they leave the big three and go to the NBA. At least he gives an open door to those that want to play. And he's not forcing them to take an inoculation. And he's providing mental health services as well. So the players can have clear minds each and every game. If they need to talk to someone, Cube is making people available so the players can go and get stuff off of their minds if necessary. So they won't be trying to play basketball, but then in their mind, they're all backed up because they got other stuff on their mind outside of the game at hand right now. And he's providing this for them. So he's been going on, and I hope he's successful. I mean, he's already successful with it, but I do hope that he gets the advertising backing with advertisers, which they've been stifling with them as well, telling certain advertisers not to partner, telling certain individuals not to put their bid in to own one of the teams within the big three. So there's a lot of challenges ahead for O'Shea Jackson Sr., but I know he'll get through it. He's been through a lot of things. I mean, look at the Friday franchise. I mean, they just let it prolong and let it linger and linger and linger and linger and linger. And now many of the original cast members are no longer with us. So how can you make another classic for this generation when half of the cast is no longer with us? Because the studios, the powers, want things to linger and linger because they want the biggest piece of the pie. Not sharing equally amongst each other. No, they want it all, and you can't have none of it. That's the way they think. It's the way they think. Because power and control, you know, hey, that turns them on. Power and control. Not sharing in the wealth. No, power and control. I want it all, and you can't have none of it. Or I'll give you these crumbs, and you better be satisfied with it, or else you won't get anything next time. That's the mentality. That's the mentality. And it's been the mentality for quite some time, which is why Cube is going on this tour, interview tour. And I've been a huge admirer for a long time. And Cube has never been one to shy away from the controversial issues. If you've listened to his music, he's been pretty forthright with his opinions about life, whether you agree with it or not. And being an independent, he's made it clear that he's never been on a major label. He's always been independent his entire career. And he's right. He's never been on a major label with them telling him what to do, telling him what singles to release, what songs to put on the album. No, he doesn't have any of that. He does that himself because that's his music. Again, what did Prince say? Either you own your masters or your masters, meaning those that control the record labels, your masters will control you. And so Cube has been on a crusade to make his big three successful, as he should, you know. So I wish him all the best and hope that he does get the viewership or more viewership or a bigger viewership, a bigger audience. Another thing, they've been, I understand that they've been stifling people from purchasing tickets, telling people that the venue is sold out when they're really not sold out and people can't purchase tickets. Oh, like he said, you know, I don't want to be a part of your fucking club. That's what he said. And when you say that, they don't really like that too much because you don't want to be one of them where you're being told what to do at every cut and corner of your career. They're telling you what to do with your career, not you being in control of your own destiny. No, they want to tell you what to do. And so I wish him all the best. And I hope he keeps doing his tours and telling more information about the way the entertainment industry is, how it all functions, because it functions as a huge unit. I mean, you have very prominent people that control the music and film industry and television. You know, it's been that way for a long time. I hope the writers do get what they deserve. They deserve to get a bigger piece of the pie. They deserve to get a bigger piece of the pie. Why not? Why aren't they getting paid a specific amount of points with streaming? Why don't they? They should. I mean, streaming is the new way of television viewing, right? Streaming. Cable is pretty much obsolete. You know, we don't need Fire Sticks and all that anymore. I mean, you just stream wherever you stream. And the actors and the writers and anyone else involved, they should get their bigger share of the earnings through the advertisers. Why not? I mean, they stay up for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours writing the sitcoms that make you laugh, writing the dramas that you love to watch every week or binge. You know, when we watched Stranger Things, you know, we binged on 3-4 seasons. Somebody had to write all that stuff, right? So we can enjoy it. The writers, they deserve a bigger piece of the pie. And now we see what we see what the film industry feels about the actors, because now the actors are going on strike. So we'll see how all that turns out in the weeks and months to come. We'll also see what happens in political season in the weeks and months to come. And again, as I wrap up here with my famous glass of wine here, and this right here, this is cashew. It's imported from Belize, and this is good too. Cashew, which is great. I love it. Cashew wine, and it's imported. This is the real deal stuff here. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Kinetic Hour. Again, whether it's one person or 100 people, it doesn't matter. My voice will begin to permeate because I will be on more often. So check me out. Go to my YouTube channel, or my YouTube channels, because I have two of them. Go to my YouTube channels. One, the Kinetic Hour, and that's KENNETIC, Kinetic. YouTube at the Kinetic Hour. Once again, that's Kinetic, KENNETIC. And my other YouTube channel is called Kinetic Fit and Wellness Info at Kinetic Fit. Kinetic Fit and Wellness Info at Kinetic Fit. And you can find just a bunch of stuff there as far as health is concerned, health, nutrition, fitness tips, nutrition tips, going into mental health, and all the ways that you can consider to free yourself of becoming what's called mentally ill, where you're labeled with all of these diagnoses that are in that diagnostics manual, statistical manual that the psychiatric industry created. No one needs to be labeled for their behavior patterns or because of their specific life journey. We all have a life journey. We've all made errors in our life journey. That doesn't mean that we're have a disorder. It just means we need to acknowledge, take responsibility, and clear some things up so we can go through life with a cleaner slate and what they call freeing your mind. So go to my YouTube channels, The Kinetic Hour at The Kinetic Hour, and Kinetic Fit and Wellness Info at Kinetic Fit. So until next time.